Today we're here with Edward Creates, who's an awesome graphic designer and content creator, and we'll be checking out his space and seeing all of the different ways that he maximizes it for creativity.
Welcome to my tiny office.
So, first impressions. This place is actually pretty small, and I'm really interested to see how you utilize it all to make awesome stuff.
Yeah, this 10 by 10 box is where I do all the things I do. I work at my desk, edit, do graphic design, but then get top-down shots, all of my gear, stuff like that. But it's also where I set up my talking head shots.
All right, so we are now in the talking head setup. It's right behind us, and Edward's gonna walk us through how he's set this whole thing up.
First thing is blackout curtains. It is in the middle of the day currently, and the room is dark now. We can control the lights. Starting with this key light with a grid, just to kind of focus the light on me and not have too much spilling over into the background. And then we got this backlight, kind of trying to contrast with the color of my lamp. We got a super ultra wide 11:16 on my full frame S5 II, just to get as much of me in the shot as possible so I can crop in as I need to. I have a cable running from the S5 II into my MacBook so that I can monitor what the camera is seeing in OBS. You know, we got the mic in shot pointing at me, but it's in the bottom fourth of the shot, which is covered up with UI from Instagram and TikTok anyways. So that's totally fine. And then over here, we got this C table. It's actually one of those tables that you use so that you can like have a meal while you're sitting on the couch, but I use it to hold my script. And you can see that because of the C cutout, the leg of the light stand actually fits through perfectly there, maximizing the little space that we have.
I'm a big fan of the lighting in this setup. I think it's pretty cool. It's like what you said when you were talking about the color contrast. That's a really important element of the scene that a lot of people just kind of skip out on. They're just like, oh, I like this color or that color, but you're actually thinking it through and choosing these contrasting kind of complementary colors that are working together to help create, you know, a more dynamic scene. You're letting me use the seat?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm such an honored guest. Thank you. Guys, this is where the viral content happens, in this fairy chair.
I get the $10 a stool that gets bent every time I sit on it.
Actually, this is really helpful for me because now we're like more similar in height.
You're right.
We're gonna hop over to his angle and talk a little bit more about it. When you're doing your recording for reels and vertical video, you're actually recording in this landscape format. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Around the edges, especially these left and right outer edges, there's a lot of warping. Like you can see like things look extra long and kind of weird. So if I were to shoot actually vertically, my head, like my forehead would be like a massive 5 head. Because of that, I kind of just shoot horizontally, 6K open gate.
Weird flex, but okay.
And so that's like in a smaller space is super, super critical for me to get as much in frame as I can without looking weird with the distortion.
So this talking head setup is pretty cool, but I'm interested to see how else you use the space.
Well, let me show you. So this is the top-down shot. Nice. I usually use this when I'm trying to shoot like a design book or other product. And you know, I've got a C-stand set up with the same camera as my talking head shot, but with a 20-60. And then I've got this sandbag so that the C-stand does not fall on me.
Who knows what else it would take with it.
It would destroy my walls, all my furniture, all the stuff.
So here in this top-down setup, what are you doing for lighting?
Yeah, so you'll notice because my desk is against the window, because I couldn't put it anywhere else in this room, I can't add a light on the other side to control my lighting. So I'm just relying on the natural light coming in through the blinds. And I actually like the effect of the kind of light and the shadows onto the book. It's kind of a nice vibe. And just, it makes the most of the space and looks great. But I had to time a lot of shots with when the clouds were not covering the sun sometimes, but it works.
What I'm really curious about is, how do you store everything?
There is not a lot of traditional space, so you gotta get creative. The wall is a place that you can store things. Pegboard, all of my charging stuff, some of my, literally anything that I need that uses a battery, try to keep it here and always charging. Got this whole workbench so I could store even more things. I got a lot of tools in here. The whole right side of the inside of this workbench is just all camera gear. And then we've got actual tools on the left side here. And then also over here, these are the most commonly used things already attached to the stands just in the corner, so I can easily just pull them out and use them whenever I need to. There's also space between your furniture and the ground. You should store things there. Literally everything else, the closet, it is not pretty in here, but you know, I got all my boxes up there, I got books, and I also have a lot of stands, lights that are already attached to stands in here as well. So I can just pull them out and use them when I need to.
I really like that you have the lights already attached to the stand in the closet. Like, when you first told me that you did that, I was like, genius. Like, it just makes things faster. And I need to figure out how, you know, I might start doing that too. So if you're wanting to maximize efficiency, just go ahead and keep your lights on their stands. Trying to plan out our more of this video right now, and I'm going to utilize this cool little lounge over here because this is where the inspiration comes. Now I understand why you're so creative.
This wall is the wall where I lounge, and it's also the backdrop to all of my video calls. I designed the wall in Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator first.
Oh, okay.
So like I measured all of my furniture and the wall and the height and everything. And then I recreated all the shapes in Adobe Illustrator.
That's actually a great tip in and of itself. If you are getting into designing your own studio space, or you're wanting to rework your space a little bit, take it into some kind of design software like Illustrator, Photoshop, maybe even Canva, and just try to like work some stuff a little bit to really see how it feels before you actually go and poke holes in your wall. All right, so I see a lot of screens going on over here. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the desk setup?
This is the battle station. This is where I do all the things. Everything is being run off of this MacBook Pro. These are my two key monitors that I design and do everything on. And then I also really like having a vertical monitor because for things like long messages or emails, or also like a library of a ton of files, things like that, it just makes more sense to look at it vertically than horizontally. Low profile keyboard, matching trackpad, MX Master mouse, the best mouse on the market. And then I got the Stream Deck just to automate a bunch of various things that I do all the time in all the creative apps. This is actually overkill. It's a fact. You don't need this, but I used to make music and I just have it left over, and these two huge HS7 Yamaha monitors, just the best speakers I've ever listened to music on, and I just enjoy that experience. And so they're here and they take up so much space on my desk.
Because you are in a smaller setup, but you still have the big speakers, it's kind of like a funny contrast.
I actually have these monitor headphones as well hanging on the desk here. Audio-Tech, I mean, you can see they're extremely worn, but Audio-Technica, the standard, industry standard for mixing. The desk itself is a sit-stand desk from Autonomous. You got some presets here. If I want to stand, just press the button, it comes up. For video calls, I'm using this GH5 as my webcam. I know this is also overkill, but I really like how it looks. And then for those calls as well, I've got this MV7. And then, yeah, for those calls as well, I've got this remote here for a softbox.
And what are you using for the softbox?
I am using a newer softbox recommended by Ben Johnson himself. I'm using a Mount Dog softbox.
Not sponsored by Mount Dog.
I'm using the $50 Mount Dog softbox kit. It comes with the remote. You could change the colors, change the color temperature.
We're not trying to sell this light, but it is one of the best value ones out there.
That's the whole setup.
All right, that's going to about wrap up Edward's studio tour. But before we go, Edward, do you have any tips for other creators who are also in a smaller space?
Yeah, if you're in a smaller space, don't just think of it as having cons, but there are pros to it. Sound can be better. Everything is in reach, and you can make things more efficient. Wherever there's a will, there's a way you can make it happen.
If you guys are interested in checking out Edward's content, I've got links in the description below. He's going to be a great resource for content creators. And if you're interested in checking out another studio tour, I did a tour with Creative Ryan, and you can check that out here. I placed links to all this stuff in the description below. And as always, stay creative. Peace.